What's good, everyone? It's your boy Salos, and let me tell you something, okay? I just fought Namielle, and I think that Namielle might be one of my favorite monsters in the entire series, and I don't say that lightly. I think that combined with all the monsters I've fought in Monster Hunter Rise Sunbreak, all the monsters I fought up until, I want to say, the middle of high rank in Monster Hunter 4 Ultimate, and all the monsters I fought up until now, I want to say that I fought a total of at least, maybe about give or take, about 40-ish monsters, maybe in the mid 40s, maybe scratching 50s. That's not a small number of monsters. So, to say that Namielle has somehow bypassed all of those and is top 5 minimum, Namielle might end up being like top 3. But this fight, everything about Namielle is just great. The ecology, the intro cutscene, the fight itself, everything about her is just amazing. If you guys don't know, my number one favorite monster is Zinogre, and I'm a little salty that I know that we're approaching the end of this game, and I still have not seen my boy Zinogre, which I'm a little salty of. I've been waiting for the moment, I've been waiting for it, but I don't. Now that we're in the Elder Dragon section of the game, I'm starting to think that Zinogre is going to be in the post game, which kind of sad. I was kind of hoping I could at least rock out with his gear, kind of like my boy Azuchi with the Zinogre gear, but well, it is what it is, I guess. But I say that because my favorite elements are ice and electricity. So Namielle having the thunder element already kind of did it for me. But I don't know. It's that I feel like her aesthetic in general just really vibes with me on such a personal level. Because I also do like a lot of aquatic life. When I was little, my favorite animal for a long time used to be a jellyfish. And pretty much, like I said, it goes into that whole electricity. Electricity is my favorite element. So stingrays, electric eels, but jellyfish was definitely number one. If I want to say number 2, then probably stingrays. So she had a lot going in that aspect. And also, I think one of my favorite phenomena in nature are rainbows. I've always just loved rainbows and everything about them. So you have a monster that has the electric affinity. Then you take it and you base it off some of my favorite aquatic life with an aesthetic for something I just absolutely love in rainbows. And this, you can start to see why this monster is starting to appeal to me. And I think that it really was just so cool. You guys will see the proper hunt, but I just had to rant about this. And yeah, if you guys can't tell, this is a discussion video. So if you want, then the proper Namielle video will be out, I want to say maybe tomorrow, depending on how fast I edit the video before that. There's one more video that I'm going to be posting today. The video today should be on Valhazak with the Resident Evil crossover. And then tomorrow should be Namielle herself, but I just had to talk about her. But so yeah, if you want to, then go ahead and you can skip this video if you want. There should be footage of the hunt you're watching right now. This is another hunt because I am going for her gear, because I'm going to get into that as well. But there's just so much about Namielle. I love you guys. There is so much I love about her. And so yeah, if this isn't your thing, then that's fine. You can you can tune into the other videos. But if not, I mean, if it is, then go ahead and just put it on the background, listen to it as you do your thing, do your chores, do homework. Doesn't matter. Just put it on the background. Just vibe out. Just hang out for a little bit. So you start with Namielle. Is that first off, Namielle is not a very aggressive creature, which I always did love. I love that little detail about the world, that there are some monsters that exist that don't just want to rip your head off. So when you first encounter Namielle in the cutscene, instead of attacking you, first it does two things that I think are really cool. The first thing is that it tries to scare you off, because there are animals in nature that do this. The first one that comes to, there's an animal, I can't think of who it is, but they pretty much like spread, I'm not sure if it's a wings or they boast themselves out or they inflate. I forgot what animal it is, but they pretty much, the only function, it's one of their main functionalities as an animal, but they do it to intimidate other animals and hopefully scare them off without actually getting into a confrontation. Another element that I know does this is a rattlesnake, is that they will rattle their tails because rattlesnakes don't want to bite you. It's just that they attack you if they feel threatened. So if you present yourself to a rattlesnake that you are not a threat, but that's kind of hard because rattlesnakes are pretty always on edge, but they rattle their tail to say, don't mess with me, don't mess with me, I won't mess with you. And that's what Namielle does, is that I look into her ecology. I'm not sure if this is what's actually going on, but it seems like she absorbs all the light around her, which also gives her her neon effects. Is that she absorbs all the light, because I hope you guys know this from science, but light is made up of many different colors. So when she absorbs all of the light, that's what gives her her rainbow aesthetic, which is what I'm thinking is what's going on. But when she absorbs all of the light in the coral highlands, it goes pitch black, and all you see are her rainbow neon lights. And it's just her towering over you like an eclipse of death. And she's just staring you down. Can I just say that is freaking awesome? Absorbing all of the light around you is already pretty intimidating. Then you use that light to refract all the different colors of light around you to illuminate yourself as this rainbow eclipse. It's like a mixture of beauty and terror. That's the first thing she does. And then what you see is that you're still not backing down. Like I said, that's an intimidation tactic. And let me just say, if I was a hunter and I saw that might have actually worked on me. I might have just used my weapons like, nope, you got this, you got this, you got this. But no. Then she proceeds to create a torrent of water to whisk you away. I say that like she's, it's kind of like a passive-aggressive attack because it does knock you out, so it had to have some force behind it. But then she just leaves. She doesn't pursue you. She doesn't try to eat you. She just leaves. So, and then when you encounter her again, despite the fact she tried to scare you off, despite the fact that she whisked you away, she still doesn't attack you. Like, she will be aware that you're around her. She'll watch your every movement. But the only way the fight will start between you and Namielle is you have to throw the first punch. And I love monsters like that. It's like, it makes it feel like, who's the monster here? Is it the monster we're hunting, or is it us? Namielle's just trying to live her best life, and we're out here slaying them. But that's not here nor there. But then we get to the fight itself. And you guys are seeing the gameplay for yourself. On paper, this fight should be terrible. This should go down as one of the worst fights in the series. It's a flying monster. We already know about flying monsters and how annoying they can be. She inflicts water blight with shooting water. She creates puddles of water everywhere, which slows your movement while she's gliding all around the place. And to top it all off, she has the thunder element. So she's electrifying the water, and the water is electrified, which will zap you in water blight. On top of, I'm not sure if she inflicts thunder blight. I don't think she does, but it's constantly know where you're standing is safe, because she's frying the water around you. You're getting inflicted with water blight. She's camping you out basically from the sky, blasting you with torrents of water and water bombs. On paper, this fight should be miserable, but it's not. How do you do that? How do you take some of the most annoying mechanics in the game and somehow make it work? First off, I think that is also just, at this point, if you're using the tools and if you've actually been learning the game as a game at this point, the game actually sets you up for success. Because, for one, like I said, she's a very passive monster. So she doesn't get enraged as much as other monsters do, meaning she's easier to wallbang. So you get a lot of free damage that way. Also, you're in the Coral Highlands. The Coral Highlands is typically a place that has a lot of hills, a lot of slopes. And if you know that slopes are the best way to get mount attacks or do your aerial attacks if you're that type of weapon. Dual blades more specifically, the Coral Highlands is probably some of the best places you can use your Attack on Titan move. So the Coral Highlands, it really does make it a level playing field. Yes, she's a flying monster, but you can easily prepare yourself up to use your aerial attacks, to get mounts, to land her and ground her. So the flying aspect of the fight really shouldn't be too much of an issue. Also, her water mechanic. Yes, this is coming from a dual plays perspective, mind you. So, yes, there are many times where that water blight did. You will see my hunter stop and catch his breath. You'll see it in my first hunt as well. Yes, that is a thing in the hunt, and that is kind of annoying. But the thing is that she doesn't create water. That she takes water from within herself. So she can run out of water. And that's pretty much all I can really say. Because like I said, it's really just how the fight plays out. Is that if you're aware of your surroundings, if you're good at space management and keeping your distance and watching your step, then it really is just being aware of your surroundings. It really is just as simple as that. And if you're a careless hunter, if you're not paying attention, then yes, this fight, I've pretty much laid it out, how this can easily be one of the worst fights in the game. But I absolutely love it. When I see an attack incoming, you can do an evade shot as dual blades to get out the way. And then as she's blasting water, you get in close, because she really doesn't have too many attacks that focus in on close. She's more of like a mid-ranged fighter. So once you get in close, then you kind of can just go ham on her, which I really love. That it rewards good spacing. This is a fight that rewards spacing, and I think that there is some merit to that. And at the risk of sounding repetitive here, she's a freaking rainbow dragon that luminescence herself. Is that a word, luminescence? She's a rainbow dragon with LED. She looks beautiful. Her attacks when she's splashing water around, her water is such a vibrant blue. And when you mix that with the electricity that electrifies them, on top of the luminescence on her body, you just see her, when she changes from enraged to her normal state, her entire body just glows with this very angelic, whitish, bluish tint. It is so cool watching her glide around in the air and shoot these waters. The only thing that can make it better is when she shot her water, they're like rainbow effects on some of her attacks. That's the only thing that would make this so much more beautiful. It really is just a sight to behold. And when you take into account you're in the Coral Highlands, it gives the illusion like you're underwater, that she's like swimming through the air, which makes it look like she's swimming through the water, because just how the Coral Highlands, it is such a cool experience. She looks majestic in this habitat. And when you take everything that I've said and you put this into this nice little package, it is just such a beautiful monster, such a beautiful hunt. Everything about Namielle is just S plus. And can I talk about her super attack? Because the super attack didn't get me in my first hunt, but I'm not sure if you guys saw this. But the most devastating display is when she gathers up all of her electricity, all of her water, and she just makes this massive explosion of electrified currents of death that electrifies everything in its path. It is easily a one-shot if you are not prepared. And that is exactly what happened to me in this attempt. It didn't happen to me in my first attempt, but it definitely did get me. But also, this is just something that I don't think Monster Hunter has really achieved up until now. Correct me if I'm wrong, to all my veterans out there. But even when I go back to monsters like Amatsu, the Storm God, an Elder Dragon that's almost in the same tier as Black Dragons, has complete mastery of the wind, complete mastery over water, and complete mastery over electricity. I hear that Sunbreak is when they did Amatsu justice, because before Sunbreak, it was like I couldn't remember if they leaned more into the electricity or the water, but it wasn't a combination of both. It was really in Sunbreak when you took this experience and took her mastery and Amatsu's mastery and control over the storm to make winds that propel you, make water that inflicts water blight, and with the wire bugs when you're both dancing in the air. And that is like, Sunbreak is when they perfected Amatsu. But I really think that Namielle here is the first monster to really showcase what's to come with Amatsu in the next game. I feel like when they got Namielle right, they were like, whoa, hold up. We kind of did it this time. We did the thing. And then I feel like they might have looked back on Namielle's fight when they were designing Amatsu, because I see a lot of similarities. Like, honestly, this fight is just, I know I'm talking a broken record, it's just beautiful. From the perspective of the hunt itself, from the perspective of the aesthetics, from the perspective of the ecology. And you notice I've been calling Namielle a her, because the male Namielles, every Namielle we hunt is a female, and we know this because a male Namielle is significantly smaller than a female Namielle. And much like in I'm not sure if stingrays are what the inspiration are, but pretty much the male sacrifices himself to fertilize the female so that they can reproduce. But in the process, the male dies, so the male is just made to make the female stronger. Where have we seen that parallel before in the Monster Hunter universe in the past 3 years? What I'm getting at here is that, I don't know, Amatsu, Namielle, All Mother Narwa, if you have talked to me, you can see a very clear theme. I love every monster I just named, but in the last 15 seconds, they are all very fun fights to me. I love all 3 of them, but Namielle is really just that much better. And I honestly think that with Zenogre and all of them, you guys can clearly see that my Thunder bias is showing through. My name is literally, I know, Salos is what I'm bringing at, but if you've responded to me, my actual channel name is Sparkman SP, because yes, electricity is my thing. So yeah, I absolutely love it. And then to top it all off, because at the end of the day, Zenogre's gear it's whatever. I mean, he has some good dual blades, I'll give him that. That if you don't feel like grinding out the, not Amatsu, because Amatsu is water. If you don't feel like grinding out the Narwa dual blades because that can be a hassle. The Zenogre dual blades are a good second or third option. But overall, typically, you don't really go for Zenogre's gear. Amatsu, on the other hand, I think they learned their lesson from Safi'jiiva and Elatrion and Fatalis completely invalidating every other armor in the entire game. So they didn't want to go all crazy with Amatsu. Amatsu's armor is very good. Like, I think that you have more 4-slot decorations than you would ever need. And Heaven Sent, giving you infinite sharpness and infinite stamina, is kind of insane, especially weapons like dual blades. So yes, they're very powerful, but when you consider skills like Dereliction and Frenzied Bloodlust and all of the other crazy skills from Risen Crimson Gold Fallstrax, all of these monsters have very top tier skills. Like, there is no end all be all, this is the best skill in the game, this is the best armor in the game, and every other armor you have is now invalidated. So I understand why they didn't make Amatsu the end all be all armor. But the same effect is just another powerful option. You can use his gear, but you can very easily skip out on the grind if you so choose not to use it. Namielle, however, is just... her gear is... First off, the aesthetics of the gear. The actual aesthetic of her gear looks like Namor, the nemesis of Wakanda. I'm not gonna get into that if you guys don't want Wakanda Forever spoilers, but it looks like something straight from Atlantis. It is absolutely beautiful. And I know that you guys were referring to this skill, but I am on the grind to unlock this skill as we speak. That's what this grind is all about, or that's what this hunt is all about, that I'm grinding her gear. Because let me just say that element acceleration, that is the truth when you take a weapon like Dual Blades that thrives on elemental damage. So I think that the build I'm going to go with are 2 pieces of Volcana, 2 pieces of Namielle, and the last armor, I'm just going to go with whatever the most powerful skill is. Maybe I will use some of Namielle's armor, but it looks amazing. It functions amazingly. And let's not kid ourselves here. The reason why we're using the armor in the first place is to get element acceleration. But the things you get alongside with, you get things like Tool Specialist, which, if you guys know me, Sage Mode is quite literally my thing around here. I've been abusing the heck out of the Temporal Mantle. So getting to use my Sage Mode even more frequently. And then you have stamina management skills like Stamina Surge. All around, it's a very good armor. Just all around, it's very good. And I'm not sure about how I'm gonna work in Agitator, because I know that Agitator is like meta in this game. But this is just, I'm just gonna have to really play with this, because this game really does give you a lot of options, and I'm all for that. This really was the blueprint for what was to come in Rise. That before, if you wanted an armor skill, that you just had to wear the full armor to get the armor set bonus. But now you can choose to have, well, you can have some of it, or you can have true element acceleration. If you wear the full armor, you get true element acceleration. Or if you just want to go halfway and get part of the bonus, you can combine it with things like Volcana's gear. And then you won't get Frostcraft, but you'll get element up to increase your elemental damage all that much, and those 2 skills do stack. So yeah, well, that's why it really is what was to come. I think they might have went a little bit too far in Sunbreak, but that's a rant for another day. But overall, this was really the start of things for people like me who love to play around, to tinker with the different sets in the game and try to think, how can I make this build my own? How can I make this not so much the most meta skill, but how can I make that my armor feel like my armor? That these skills are what helps my personal playstyle. It helps me accelerate what I like to do when I hunt. So that's what this set allows you to do, that it doesn't make you commit to the full thing, but it gives you enough flexibility to play around with the other really busted skills in the game. Maybe there's an armor that you want that has that requires 3 pieces, but the fact that this one only requires 2, you can slap it on just about most of the armors in the game. And it's balanced because it is limited. If you have a skill like Volcana, you can't just run 4 pieces of Volcana and also 2 pieces of Namielle, because that just doesn't math. Math does not math. That's 6 pieces. You only have 5 pieces to work with. What I'm getting at is that the whole package, the entire package of Namielle, is just so beautiful. I just love it so much. This hunt, man, this hunt. I think Namielle is going to go down as one of my favorite monsters of all time. But I hope that this came out. This is like my 3rd time trying to record this, not even gonna lie. But I hope that this got across that I love Namielle. Like I said, I'm pretty sure you guys are gonna see the video tomorrow, the hunt, with all my raw thoughts and all of my, the typical shenanigans you expect from my videos by now. But I had to make a separate video just to get everything out there. My entire first thoughts on Namielle. I'm more organized. I've had time to sit down and think about it. I've hunted her about 9 o'clock this morning. It's 4 o'clock in the afternoon right now. Overall, I've just had to take everything in, and I just love everything about this fight. But with all that being said, I'm about to get up out because I'm about out of time. The hunt should be just about over by now. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you guys are watching this after this video's come out, then you guys should see an iCard right here linking to my Namielle first hunt, my first attempt against her, and all my raw thoughts on all of that. But if not, look forward to that video tomorrow. I really hope that you guys enjoy it and you guys can just see just how blown away I was with Namielle the first time that I encountered her. But with all that being said, I'm about to get about. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll catch you guys in the next video. Till then, deuces.